Hi everybody, I'm Captain Floofers, and welcome to Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I think I have some explaining to do here. So obviously, this isn't Deus Ex, because Greg was unable to record this week. I think, I don't know if was it last week as well? I don't even know. We take off so many weeks these days, just on and off, taking off and on weeks, that I really can't keep up with it all anymore. I never claimed to be the most, what's the word I'm thinking of? I guess consistent. In fact, I'm fairly sure I said that I couldn't really keep up with a consistent schedule, so here you go. I'm just going to leave this here for a second while I explain what's going on. So, in more recent months, I've been hanging around on Twitch a lot, and one of the I guess communities on Twitch that I've sort of latched on to as of late has been like the retro speedrunning community, because all of the retro speedrunners that I've interacted with so far are very pleasant people, and I've had online interactions with them, however slight, just I'm a member of a lot of their discords and whatnot. There was a conversation that came up at some point, and I had been thinking of speedrunning something, or at least trying to speedrun something for a while. And so at some point, like, a conversation came up with Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and I mentioned how much I like playing the game casually, because even though this game does get a lot of shit for being baby's first RPG and treating the player like a moron, I kind of like playing it because it's, chill and easy to play, and I don't hate it, and the music's also kick-ass, but the person I was talking to had said that I did say that but the conversation was basically about but one of the points of the conversation was that the streamer I was kind of talking to, he was doing like a just chatting stream. And he mentioned that he doesn't like Mystic Quest as a casual game, but as a speed run, it's actually quite fun. And I said, yeah, if I ever get around to speed running at some point, I may consider that, because I've been kicking the old peanut around about doing something like this for at least a month. Except I didn't know what game I wanted to do, because a lot of the games that I did really want to do are stuff like Link's Awakening, For the Frog the Bell Tolls, Final Fantasy Adventure. My favorite games on the Game Boy. Especially Link's Awakening, because it's my favorite game of all time. But I've seen people try to speedrun Link's Awakening, and it looks very, very hard to do. And so I was looking for something more easier to get into. And the streamer I was talking to, Sherry Bear, said that Mystic Quest is actually a very beginner-friendly speedrun. So I'm kind of easing myself into this. And what I'm going to be doing is, this is going to kind of be a video thing of 3 planned phases here. Again, I don't know how, because I'm very inconsistent with things. Just look at some of the other projects I've had been going on for like the past couple of years, like Lego Dimensions, and you'll know what I mean. But so I can't really guarantee that I'll stick with it, but what I want to do is, like, this is going to be the first phase. I'm going to be doing a casual playthrough of the game first. Casual playthrough is how I've come to call just like regular playthroughs now that I'm hanging out with people who speedrun all the time, and so I'm going to be doing this as a standard playthrough because it's also kind of a setup for other stuff. And then I'm going to be doing a run of the game where I'm just kind of following the steps for it, because I found a really what seems to be a really solid guide by Elmagus, who's I haven't interacted with Elmagus at all, but I am familiar with his runs. I've seen some of his stuff at RPG Limit Break, and I know that he knows what he's talking about. But he has a fairly good guide up on game facts for speedrunning, and just moving the cursor around a little bit, and I figure I could just use that guide and learn how to go through. And I'll record myself doing that. So I'll do like a run, like a learning run. And then I might actually get into doing some speed runs and putting them up and or doing whatever. Again, I can't really make any guarantees as to how far I'll get with this endeavor because you know how I am. But, you know, for the time being, I think this would be a fun thing to do in between Deus Ex. So I'll try to record more like on Thursdays. I've always been trying to record solo things on Thursdays, and it never pans out, but we'll see. So let's get into it now. So it's kind of exposition dump here. This old guy... we're just kind of following this old guy, I guess. It's basically just, I have to jump across that. There really isn't much of a story. It's just our village is destroyed, and now we have to fight a monster. If those of you who have hung around my channel for a while may recognize this game, and that is because I did a partial drunk run of this a couple years back. I don't remember if it was 2018 or 2019. For New Year's, I did like the first dungeon and a half or something like that of this game. Charlie, go ahead and put up a clip from that drunk run.
Doesn't really matter. We're gonna win because, like I said, Phoebe is 4 levels ahead of us. So even if we fucking fail, Phoebe's gonna pick up the slack. That's basically what this game is. We're getting carried through every dungeon by some dude or dudette who is higher level than we are. Did I mention that I actually really like this game?
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Talking about the focus tower, that's where I'm destined to go. I have to get all the crystals to open up the way to get to the top of the focus tower. And, yeah. That's really all there is to it. It's a very simplistic story. Very simplistic battle system. You don't have to worry about dying. If you die, then all that happens is you get the opportunity to restart the battle from the beginning with the exact status that you had going into the battle. Also, as you fight and damage monsters, the monsters have different states that they're in. Like now he started off fine, then he's damaged. Now he's damaged and angry. There's a lot of dumb humor like that in this. Also, unlike the drunk run that I did, this is not actually off of my cartridge. This is off of an emulator because at the moment I really don't have a good setup for... I don't really have a good setup for putting my my Superboy into the computer. The streaming box that I have that I never got rid of, even though I said I was probably going to do it. I still have it, and I tried using it at one point recently, and it didn't work how I wanted it to, so... Save the Crystal of Earth. See ya. So that's why I'm not playing off of my actual cartridge, although I do still have my cartridge. Okay, he wants to go talk to Kaylee and Foresta. I'll open that. I don't really have much of a reason to do stuff in the level forest right now. I'm not going to be talking to too many people. I just kind of want to sort of kind of make this quick. I don't know how far I'm going to get today, but playing through a casual playthrough like this is a good way to get myself accustomed to playing the game. But it's also something I'm setting up for the speed run. If you have there's like a glitch that you do as part of the run that involves having an endgame save file, and so this is kind of setting up that endgame save file there. You save all 4 crystals, I guess. I say I'm making it quick, and I'm just kind of bumbling around like this. Also, funnily enough, the main character here, his name is actually Benjamin, but there's no default name that's put in there, so I just put Floofers. But when I played, what was it? Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call. I used Benjamin. You can actually play as Benjamin as one of your characters in that. Where can I go heal? Is there an inn around here? I don't remember if there's an inn around here. And the only other thing besides Benjamin that was in that game that has anything to do with Mystic Quest was 2 songs, I think. And one of them wasn't even my favorite song in the game, so that kind of sucked. Do I talk to you? Oh, I can just go to the bed. I like the sound effects in this game, too. I don't know why. It's a very un-Final Fantasy game, but, you know, whatever. So now that we're back in the level forest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start killing these monsters. And the monsters are all out on the, is it? Oh, let's just save anywhere. I forgot about that. I should probably do that. Just keep saving. How do I swap? Okay, I guess I can't. I can't swap. I was trying to swap over to the axe to chop down trees, but apparently that's not something I can do yet. So these enemies that are out on the field, they're all fixed encounters. They will respawn if you leave and come back in, much like the treasure chest that you saw. That yes, I did open that before, and it was unopened when I came back. But this is, you know, obviously you defeat enemies to, you know, level up and get stronger, and I do want to be as strong as I possibly can, especially considering endgame stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go ahead and fight all of these monsters. And let you listen to the awesome battle music. While I try to think of something else to say. I don't want to go into too much, like, update stuff. I'm going to do, like, a proper update video on some of the plans that I kind of sort of have. Not all of the plans great for the channel, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't really want to talk about it right now. But yeah. But yeah, you can skip all of these enemies if you want to, but I'm not going to, because I want to level up. I really can't think of anything to say. Oy vey. Oh, that's another thing I gotta talk about, like, note how the, you can actually set so that you can either have the second character attack on their own, or act on their own, or you can set them to manual. And you can control them that way. For whatever reason, maybe it's just because I'm a lazy asshole. So this is just what it looks like when you directly control Kaylee. It's just like the same, only I tell her what to do. And you can just change in the middle of battle whether it's auto or manual. You always control Benjamin, but you know. And for whatever reason, and and this isn't like the only game to do this. Like, there are a lot of RPGs out there that will, like, automatically control other people in your party. And for whatever strange reason, again, maybe it's because I'm a lazy asshole, but I actually like having the auto-controlled characters. I don't know. I actually went through Persona 4 that way. With auto-controlled characters. Because that was the default. Just personal preference, I suppose. But, yeah. There really isn't much else going on. I've just been plodding through my backlog as best I can. I actually beat 3 games in the past week. A couple of them were pretty short ones, but I'd actually taken some time off from... Because one of my problems is that I, come up with all of these things that I want to do at once and try to plan out, like, how I want to do them. And, like... Because I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV. I'm playing, or I'm trying to keep up with Animal Crossing as well, because... I don't know, there's something about Animal Crossing where I don't want to be like one of those people who just kind of played Animal Crossing after it came out and then just moved on, because that's what they always do. I mean, and that's with a lot of Nintendo stuff, like Mario Kart's the same way, Smash Brothers is the same way. The new game is overhyped to hell. Everyone's talking about it. Everybody wants it. Everyone looks forward to it. They say it's going to be the best game ever made. It's going to be the best thing ever. They only play it for like a month and then they move on because they get bored with it. And that's not like entirely true. I mean, it's mostly with Mario Kart. I know that there are a lot of people who still play Animal Crossing, like Kikoskia, and a lot of people in his community. They are still playing Animal Crossing. Kikoskia does Animal Crossing streams 3 days a week. That man is dedicated to Animal Crossing. Oh yeah, and I think your other character always just has the life spell. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. And I know that there are still a lot of people who are still playing Smash Brothers Ultimate, I think, especially when they keep announcing new characters coming out. Which I haven't gotten a lot of the new characters, because I don't care. I don't know what's keeping me with Animal Crossing. I think it's mainly I want to keep up with I want to keep up with like a lot of the like collecting the bugs and fish mostly. Oh, I think I forgot to pick up something in the town. There's like I think you get the cure spell in the town. I should have been more thorough. Well, I'm going to go back to town real quick and, heal. The inn or whatever was over here. Oh, this is a different house, but I think you can go through. Yeah, see, no, you can go in the back and there's the cure spell right there. That is something that I do want. So that way I can, heal myself. I'm just an idiot for rushing things. Yeah, I don't know why I want to keep up with it. I think it's mainly just I want to avoid... Like, I want to keep up with doing some things in the game without being completely tied to it, because I'm at a point where, like, there are some things that I want to do, but they're just kind of like as like a side activity to supplement other things that I'm doing that aren't Animal Crossing, because there really isn't anything else I want to do right now in that. But I also don't want my animal friends to yell at me for not being in the game for so long. I actually haven't been on that game in like 2 or 3 weeks now. In Final Fantasy XIV, I just got back into that because I've been spending so long playing Daggerfall. I actually wanted to just finish that finally, because Daggerfall can take a while, because of how like its leveling system works and how you have to meet certain level thresholds before going through the main story, because otherwise the main story is really short. Real quick, battlefields, the way they work, there are 10 encounters in the battlefield. This is how you get a lot of experience as well. And I have an axe now, which means I not only do I do more damage with the axe, but there are also things that are weak to certain weapons. Like the tree there is weak to axes, because chopping down trees. I think I can outlast the poison. And you can skip the battlefields if you want. These are completely optional. But again, I just kind of want to have as much experience as I can. And you do get items and stuff for completing the battlefields. So I'm going to do it. So I beat Daggerfall. I actually took like at least a week. And just like... Well, I mean, I was still like watching Twitch and stuff. But like other than that, I was just, you know, kind of just playing Daggerfall on the side. That's good enough. And, while I do have, like, the other activities that I want to do kind of planned out going forward, I did kind of just start playing some other games on the side, like here and there, that I could just beat real quick. Like, I beat the Banjo-Kazooie game for GBA in a couple of hours. And then I, quote-unquote, beat Mr. Driller on Switch. Basically, when I say I beat a game, that means I played through a story mode enough, like whether the story mode is, you know, has anything to do with anything or not. And then I played enough to get a credit sequence, and that's what I consider beating a game in this context. So I beat Mr. Driller by, you know, completing enough challenges to get to the boss fight, which was really easy. And then once I beat the boss fight, you know, I saw the credit sequence. And you may have a harder time playing through things, but I also play things on easy mode for brevity. So I give myself as much advantage as I can. I mean, with Daggerfall, I was using guides. Like, I used, like, a beginner's build. So that, because Daggerfall is, like, notoriously hard. So I wanted to make sure that I had a character made that, you know, suited the kind of playstyle that I wanted to do, while also not dying in the opening dungeon. And I ended up playing as a Redguard, which is, you know, I don't normally play as Redguard, so that was kind of a different experience, kind of. I just went around killing everything with a Daikatana, but still. Daggerfall was okay. I like other Elder Scrolls games more than Daggerfall, but there were some things that Daggerfall did that I thought were kind of neat. Like, I didn't like when I had to level up, and I didn't like the system that it uses for randomly generating dungeons. Oh dear. I'm actually going to cast Cure on myself. Yeah, the randomly generated dungeons are... they're stupidly long for no reason. And they can be broken. Like, I've run into situations a couple times where... Because I only went into the dungeons as parts of, like, repeatable quests. And that's one of the methods I used for leveling up in Daggerfall, was just doing that. And I found sometimes the goal, the item that I needed to find or whatever, was like in an area that was completely cut off from the rest of the dungeon, and there was like no way to get there. Like there were a few times where I either got impatient, and you know I didn't really want to resort to this, but like the first time I did it was because I couldn't find the item anywhere. I looked everywhere for it, but I used a console command to warp directly to where the item was. After like hours of searching in this dungeon. And it turns out it was like from a completely cut off area. I actually tried to find a way back out into the main dungeon from there, and there was no exit at all. Which is really, really dumb. And there's like another thing that was like like an unsolvable puzzle. Which locked away another item another time. And it got to the point where I was just getting... I mean, I didn't do that sort of thing with, like, the main story dungeons. It was just for, like, the repeatable quests that I was using to kind of sort of level up in between. Whenever I would get just fed up, I would just console command over to it when I got sick of looking. And, you know, if I felt like I exhausted all of my options. And in a couple of cases, it was a little bit premature, because it was just like a secret door that I didn't find. But at the end of the day, I really didn't care. So, yeah, I cheated a bit, like, in between, but, like, all of the, like, the main story stuff, which isn't randomized, thank God, mostly, I did without cheating, so that was something. Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge on the GBA was pretty good, too. Especially considering that it's like the only Banjo-Kazooie game I have access to play right now, because I do technically have, or I have had in some way, shape, or form. Oh, here's Tristram. Banjo-Kazooie on the Xbox, and Banjo-Tooie as well. That's way too much. My allowance is only 2 GP a month. Your village is destroyed, so you don't have any allowance anymore. He wants us to go to Bone Dungeon with him. He's going to look for a treasure there, and if we see the elixir, or if we help him get the treasure, then he'll give us the elixir. And Tristram has a throwing weapon, which is limited in use, but we'll find plenty of ammo refills for him. So it's no big deal. Yeah, Grunty's Revenge is basically just like it's like a standard Banjo-Kazooie game on the Game Boy Advance, which I think even at the time, I think it came out in like 2004, 2005, but even at the time, it's pretty cool how they handle it. It's like a it's not like a it's like a shorter version of a, because you know how in you know, Banjo-Kazooie, for example, yeah, there were like 9 worlds that you could go to and a hub. In this game, there's like 6 worlds or 5 worlds and a hub. But like other than that, it was just like, and like, I mean, the areas were smaller because it's on the Game Boy Advance, but it was a standard Banjo-Kazooie game with just like a top-down perspective, and just like shorter. And I thought it was really cool how they were able to get all that to work. And it kind of makes me wish I could still play the because I have the original games. I mean, I have the I want to say I still have them, but I kind of don't anymore. Because I got Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie on Xbox Live for the Xbox 360. Because I got the first game, because I was one of the folks who pre-ordered Nuts and Bolts. I never beat Nuts and Bolts. I don't think the game is as bad as everyone says it is, but that's neither here nor there. I got, you know, the Xbox Live Arcade version of Banjo-Kazooie, you know, as a freebie for the pre-order. So that was cool. I got to play that. I had that game, and then later Banjo-Tooie was made available on Xbox Live Arcade, and I bought that as well. I haven't had an Xbox 360 in 6 years, and I don't even know if my gamer tag or whatever still exists. I'm fairly sure I have the what do you call it, the flash drive with my old profile still around, because I have those games in Perfect Dark, I think, downloaded. I mean, I still have Perfect Dark on the N64, so that's really not much of a consequence. I didn't have Banjo-Kazooie on the N64. I only had it on the Xbox. So I don't really own that game anymore, I don't think, because there's no way I can access it. I don't have any heal potions, so we're gonna have to power through this. Especially if these toads are just gonna keep poisoning us anyway. But yeah, it kind of makes me wish I could still play the original Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, but I think for like if you have a Game Boy Advance and you want that kind of a 3D platformer collectathon, 3D collectathon platformer, yeah, that's the term, right? Collectathon, 3D platformer, that kind of a game. If you want that sort of experience on something like the Game Boy Advance, Grunty's Revenge will definitely fits the bill. And Mr. Driller, I found out, is really, really fun. But I digress. I mean, I say I digress, but there really isn't much else to talk about. Oh dear.